I've been with the UCSF for 6 years, and I'm a union representative and a system-wide executive board member. If you have attended any of our successful strikes this year, you know that we've been demanding safe staffing levels, patient staffing levels, world-class benefits to recruit and retain our colleagues, and make sure our patients are not impacted. You also know that UC has the money to pay for these demands. They have $28 billion in liquid cash reserves, and they plan to invest over $30 billion in new property acquisitions and capital projects over the next 5 years. They're also prioritizing top-level salaries and roles, which have ballooned by over 48% over the last 3 years. We, on the other hand, have been targeted by UC for budget cuts, statewide hiring freezes, and now systemic layoffs in the hospital system, both here at UCSF and UC San Diego. How does that make you feel, everyone? What does UCSF really intend to accomplish with their layoffs? They claim this is because of financial constraints, but we know their own reporting shows that their profits at UC Health have more than doubled in the last 10 years. And just in the last year, their net position has increased by $5 billion. They claim these cuts will have minimal impacts on patient care, when we know they will only make things worse, and the ongoing staffing crisis will continue to worsen for ourselves and for our patients. UCSF's average length of stay is already 60% higher than the state national average. Does that sound like minimal impacts to you? No! Will UC layoffs help our patients? No! Is it okay for them to put patient care at risk with these layoffs? No! We know that whenever these layoffs are announced, it is not strategic or about efficiency or high costs. It's about UC choosing to prioritize capital development projects and new property acquisitions. The UC just purchased Oakland Children's Hospital, and they're planning on putting close to $1 billion on new construction and development projects for that property. They're also in talks to purchase a new UC campus in Palo Alto for an estimated $300 million. Every time these layoffs have happened in the past, they have used this to justify new purchases, shiny new construction projects, and capital investments. Is that what we need more of, UC? No! We need more staff. We need better support for frontline workers, reduced wait times, and adequate care for our patients. So we're going to have some speakers here today who will directly tell you about their experience on the front lines of this patient care crisis. And then we're going to talk about our plan to fight back and win our demands and rescind these layoffs immediately. First, I'd like to introduce you to Dea Williamson, a rehab specialist who has been here at UCSF for 9 years and was given immediate notice of a layoff on Wednesday. Please welcome Dana, who's taking a brave stand being here with us today.
My name is Dea Williamson. I am a physical therapist and rehab services specialist at UCSF. I was laid off on Wednesday. First of all, thank you for coming today. Thank you for supporting and advocating for me and everyone who is impacted by these layoffs. I am truly shocked and devastated, and it means so much to me personally that you are here. I have worked my entire physical therapy career at UCSF, nearly 9 years, and I was a student here prior to that. I have grown as a clinician and an educator here, and I am now, or was, one of the most senior members of the rehab department who teaches, trains, and mentors my colleagues. I love my job. I love UCSF. I love my job at UCSF. I am deeply committed to and deeply invested in my work and my workplace. In the core of my being, I care about my patients, their families, and my colleagues. I want my job back. I know these layoffs mean our patients will face even further delays than they already do. Delays in necessary care from their providers. As a physical therapist, I work with patients across all units and floors of this hospital, but the majority of my time is spent working with patients in the neurologic and cardiopulmonary intensive care units, where they are in the most acute stages of illness, injury, and recovery. These patients do not have the luxury of waiting for care. They have just experienced a stroke or surgery on their brains or spines, or they have just received heart or lung transplants. Delays in care mean delays in recovery, and studies show that early mobility is critical to regaining function. Our patients need me, they need us in order to recover. As much as my heart is broken to lose my job, I am also incredibly concerned for my patients and the care they deserve. I understand that UCSF is facing financial challenges. What I don't understand is how letting me go is solving that problem. Me, someone who pours her heart and soul into this place and its people, someone who is a dedicated clinician who advocates for patients and families, someone who has developed skills and experience for over 10 years to support medically complex patients in the ICUs. I don't understand how letting me go is solving any problems. UCSF is one of the top hospitals in the country. In order to continue to be renowned for what it does, it needs to maintain its highly skilled, experienced, dedicated, and loyal workforce so that we can deliver exceptional care to its patients.
For your profession, advocate for your patients. It's very shameful behavior by UC when we know that they can afford to keep skilled clinicians like Dea. So, shame on UC. So we have another speaker here, Bal Makmoud, who is the District 5 supervisor here in San Francisco.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Sean, and thank you, Dana, for sharing your story as well. I've been a lifelong patient in San Francisco of UCSF. Just this morning, I had my blood drawn at UCSF from lab technicians and researchers that are gathered here today. You take care of us in San Francisco, and it is time for San Francisco to take care of you. There are over 200 workers that are being impacted by these layoffs. Workers like those who served me this morning, who serve District 5, who serve all of San Francisco. District 5, we have some of the most vulnerable communities, from the Tenderloin to the Western Addition, communities of color, low-income patients. You are serving them. You are their lifeline. You are what protects them from healthy versus being unhealthy in our city. And at a time when the city is bouncing back, this is not the time for austerity. This is not the time to be turning the clock back on the work that all of you do for San Francisco. So we are demanding, and I am demanding on behalf and with you all today, that UCSF return these 200 positions immediately. You have my promise that I will reach out to UCSF and make our position clear from the District 5 office. I will work with all of you. You can reach out to our office anytime, and we're here to help and support because you have taken care of us for far too long. It's time for the city to step up as well.
introduce, thank you, Bal Makmoud, supervisor. We have Dea joining us. She is a ED nurse. And we're going to be talking about what's going on in the emergency department here at Parnassus.
Good afternoon. My name is Dea Williamson. I am a UCSF Parnassus Emergency Department nurse and have worked at UCSF for over a decade. I come to you today in solidarity with all of my UCSF colleagues here and everywhere else who are working, who are now greatly affected by these recent layoffs. Parnassus ED has been greatly affected by staffing issues these past few years, and more recently since the hiring freeze, including June 22nd, lowering our daily staffing grid from an average of 19 nurses daily for day and night shift to 12 nurses, and due to severe staffing issues, many of these nurses are not ER trained to legally care for ER patients. CNA filed a cease and desist and a health and safety grievance months ago, which UCSF has still, to this day, failed to respond to. UCSF started by closing critical areas in our ED that would help us see patients and discharge them quicker. When a person comes to the emergency department, many times they are having one of the worst days of their lives and looking to be given quick and effective treatment to stabilize and treat any life-threatening conditions. The ED is not an inpatient unit with a controlled flow and environment. At any given moment, we could have a mass casualty incident occur and get an influx of patients needing adequate staffing, such as the Asiana flight on July 6, 2013, where we received multiple patients. UCSF has now chosen prioritizing fiscal expediency over patient care and safety, and has effectively instituted a staffing model that prioritizes fiscal concerns over optimal patient-centered care. Some of the recent UCSF emergency department changes UCSF has done, they have now closed our rapid care area, also known as JADE area, which saw an average of 40 patients per day. They also changed our daily nurse staffing grid, significantly reducing us by an average of 3 to 4 nurses less per shift, which in turn is significantly delaying patients being seen and treated. With California Title 22, nurse-to-patient ratios in the emergency department being 1 to 4, this leaves at any given time an average of 12 to 16 patients who now cannot be cared for, with a change in an average of 3 to 4 nurses less per shift. This is significantly increasing our wait times for patients waiting in the waiting room for hours to be treated. It is not uncommon to have 30 to 35 patients in our waiting room. Many times after these patients make it to a room, after waiting for hours, it is also not uncommon for the patients to then have to spend 1 to 3 days in our emergency department as an inpatient waiting for a bed, many times in gurneys, because there are not enough hospital beds. I personally experienced this with my own family member waiting for 2 days in our Parnassus emergency department for a bed upstairs in the hospital just last month in May 2025. It is not uncommon for our 29-bed emergency department to have 20 to 50 admitted patients waiting for beds, along with trying to treat any emergency that walks in the door. With UCSF laying off colleagues, including union nurses, and continuing to downstaff critical nursing units such as the Parnassus Emergency Department, they are choosing fiscal concerns over our patient and staff safety. I leave you with this. Our patients are not a monetary dollar sign. They are a life. Someone's grandmother, grandfather, father, mother, child, sister, brother, or friend. All of their lives, and receiving quick, efficient, quality care in their time of need in our Parnassus Emergency Department matters.
Thank you, Dea. Next, we have a speaker from our local labor council who is here to show union solidarity and support. Please welcome Kim Tabioli.
you. I'm really sad to be here today. UC did not need to lay off any workers at all. They have enough money, and even if they didn't, shouldn't they start with chopping the top? UC has gotten incredibly top-heavy with large salaries, housing bonuses, while the workers do more with less. Unacceptable! UC hasn't settled their dispute with Blue Shield either. And I think they're leveraging workers over this issue. That's not okay either. UC is raising the rates on the city and county workers. That issue is before the Health Services Board. We are calling on UC to be a good community partner, offer excellent patient care with the level of service that you all provide every day. And that includes bringing back the 250 workers who were laid off. While UC is busy expanding, they're not taking care of their core, which is all of you. Everybody working today. They should stop expanding and actually increase the number of workers, provide really good pay and benefits and retirement for all workers that they currently have, instead of trying to acquire more and more hospitals that they can't deal with. They have too many administrators, and I say, UC, chop the top! Chop the top! Chop the top! Chop the top! Thank you!
We have another one of our CNA colleagues here, Rosita, who is the Mission Bay Chief Nurse Rep, joining us today.
Good afternoon, everyone. First, I'm going to start by reading a statement from one of our nurses that was laid off in the GI department. Her name is Shalimar Gaza. She says, "I never thought in my life that I would lose my dream job at UCSF in less than 24 hours. To my understanding, this was a random selection of people to lay off, but it comes to show that no matter how much heart and dedication you put into a job, even if it is just as a per diem, nothing is ever guaranteed. I can say with confidence that I truly cared and loved every aspect of my role. It's hard for me not to take it personally when this job was everything to me. I had hopes to switch from per diem to career eventually. Not only have I lost that opportunity, but I was stripped away from an amazing group of people that I called my family without even having the chance to say goodbye." So thank you for being here. Again, my name is Rosita. I'm the CNA lead nurse rep for Mission Bay and the nurse rep for GI. So as we're gathered here, not only as residents, staff, nurses, techs, but as advocates for a basic truth that health care is a right, not a privilege. Our nurses, techs, and healthcare providers are laid off. That strips our resources. It's not just jobs that are lost, it's lives that hang in the balance. UCSF Health announced layoffs affecting over 200 positions on Wednesday, following massive layoffs at UCSD. UC-wide, many of them frontline workers who cared for community through a pandemic, a mental health crisis, and staffing shortages that never truly ended. These are not just numbers on a spreadsheet. These are people. They're nurses, they're PCAs, they're techs, who have held the hands of our loved ones in their darkest times. Let me be clear. These layoffs are not happening in isolation. They are coming on the heels of hiring freezes, wage cuts, and increasing pressure on hospital staff to do more with less, and targeting attacks on workers' rights. And who suffers the most? Our most vulnerable. Our children with complex care needs, seniors who need consistent care, cancer patients, and those that are awaiting a diagnosis. Families who come to UC for high quality care are unaware of the consistent understaffing that has plagued our units. These cuts threaten not just access, but equity. My unit had 10 layoffs of not just essential staff, but full full-time workers who show up every day to care for community, who have dedicated their careers to the craft of healing and care. 2 of these layoffs happened while our charge nurse was in the middle of a pediatric ICU bleed, leaving our unit not just short, but resulting in unreasonable delay of care. Our unit has been chronically short-staffed in a specialty where we are seeing patients for initial cancer diagnosis, for palliative treatments. The difference on timely cares makes the difference between a quick, aggressive treatment and death. When marginalized communities face higher stats of colon cancer and liver cancer, our patients deserve to have safe, reliable, and timely treatment. But while UC cries budget deficit, they are spending millions on 30-second Super Bowl ads and millions on PR, or giving the regents 27% raises. Why not cut the highest paid workers at UC? Our CEO, Suresh, makes $1.85 million. Oh, and he just gave himself a raise, so it's probably more like $2 million. The math ain't mathin'. When you take nurses out of hospitals, you don't just lighten up payroll, you risk delays in emergency care, you increase wait times, you make it harder to detect complications early, you extend the time of diagnosis or treatment for cancers and other ailments. And above all, you send a chilling message to the people who work day and night to keep our healthcare system running: you are expendable. And to patients, you say you are willing to cut corners to increase your pocket, despite the glaring ethical and moral obligation to those you treat. But we are here today to say, no, we are not expendable. We stand with the communities being asked to accept less care, more travel, and higher health risks just to balance a budget. Health cuts must never come at the expense of safety, dignity, or access to care. The message UC is giving our community is clear. Whether it's cutting jobs, impacting safety, equity, access, or even following the denying to follow directives of a sanctuary city, our patients deserve to know that they are safe in our halls and in our care. What we saw happen at UCLA when UC leadership ushered in ICE with kind words and a smile. Do you care about health and equity in my immigrant communities, but yet you're making all the decisions that point to the opposite, including financial relations with Westlaw Lexus that sells data to ICE? How is UC providing a safe space for care and healing when it cuts staff integral to care and welcomes ICE with a smile and a warm welcome to kidnap our community? Let's remind the decision makers, a great hospital isn't measured by revenue margins, but by the well-being of its people. No longer can we accept slogans over substance. No longer can we allow boardrooms and spreadsheets to determine who lives and who waits and who receives safe care. Together we must demand accountability. Together we must protect care, and together we must say loud and clear: our nurses, our staff matter. Our communities matter. Our care matters. And since UC wants to bring this fight, bring it. All right, please find my colleagues with the clipboards and sign the bargaining pledge. Let's show UC the power of unionized folks.
Round of applause for Rosita. We have one of our UPTE colleagues, our worksite rep, Cesaly Donigan, who will share the stage. By yourself. About additional information on what's going on in the emergency department.
My name is Cesaly. I'm a social worker in the adult ED. I've worked here about 10 years, and I'm here today speaking out because the university is placing its own profit margin over people's lives. In addition to the 200 proposed layoffs, the hospital has cut our ED bedside nurse staffing, reducing our ED capacity to treat patients by about 20 rooms. Packing the waiting room with 30 plus patients a night, all experiencing serious delays in care. Care delayed is care denied.
That's right.
We have acutely sick people sitting upright in waiting room chairs, elbow to elbow for 8 to 12 hours, waiting for an open ED bed with an assigned nurse. Physicians are assigned to these patients in the waiting room. Labs have been drawn in the waiting room, showing critical lab values like positive troponin, critical high glucose, and life-threatening electrolyte abnormalities, but they still remain in the waiting room. No hospital room, no privacy, no dignity, no nurse to administer medications and reduce their pain and suffering. Patients in our waiting room are lying on the ground, weeping, begging for help. Patients with an acuity of 2, chest pain, shortness of breath, all placed in the waiting room. This is unheard of, and we have never operated this way before. When our volume exploded in the past, we increased resources, opening new treatment areas to help move patients through the healthcare system. Now, those treatment areas are closed, unstaffed, and our waiting room is bursting at the seams with 30 plus people waiting hours nightly. In the midst of all this chaos, last night, 2 of my colleagues received Zoom links to meetings terminating their employment mid-shift. My hardworking, understaffed, underpaid Ask Me colleagues who hustle to cover the phones, page out code strokes, register patients, link outside medical records essential to critical care, were told to go. This is not okay. It's not okay to routinely have 30 to 40 sick people in our waiting room and empty beds inside the ED because the hospital is looking to save money. At what cost? The pain and suffering of our community.
Thank you so much, Cesaly. So what are we going to be doing about our laid off coworkers? We got to fight, right? What are we going to do about the crisis of short staffing in our hospitals? What do we have to do? What are we going to do when UC not only ignores this crisis, but makes it worse by imposing these cuts on us? What do we have to do? So we are going to fight back. We have issued a cease and desist to UC management and are going to be demanding that UC immediately rescind these layoffs. If they do not back down and plan to go forward with these staffing cuts, we will continue to take action to defend our rights, where it will be in the workplace, in the public, or in the streets. So are you all ready to carry on the fight for our rights and for our coworkers and for our patients? Are you ready to show up to the UC admin's doorsteps to demand safe staffing for our patients? Are you ready to go into the workplace to hold group meetings where we can coordinate our actions? If you are not planning to attend your department meetings, plan on it right now. Go talk with your staff organizers, with your unit reps, your workplace reps. We need to get organized. Let your supervisors know that we are not going to back down on this.